Can I just start, or do you want to intro me?
No, I guess this is almost a bit like a survivor's photo, isn't it? So well done for keeping going throughout, hopefully, what's been a really enjoyable, educational and inspiring day. And without further ado, Coach Jack Farr talking about kickoffs.
Do you want to go get the other 100 people waiting outside? Then I'm back in. Okay, guys, it's okay. It's recorded. Yeah, there you go. All the people I left. Sorry about that. Terrible. I would need one of those big orange T-shirts though. They're really good. Anyway, right. Directional kickoff, schematics, fundamentals, drill work, and teaching. Eddie Wu, who was our kicker at Lafayette, awesome directional kicker. Big part of why we were successful. Okay. Aim right here. I want to be a little more macro, a little broader than I was yesterday. Yesterday, I spent an hour talking about drive, catch, and spot set from guard, tackle, and wings, which was crazy, okay? So I'm going to be a little more conceptual today, and then we're going to start to deep dive directional kickoff, formations, loop in, waterfall, and give you guys some tools that you can take back to your scheme, and then you can be a little more multiple, you can be a little more aggressive on kickoff. Okay, we're going to examine some essential coverage and block destruction drills and technique. I got some drill tape for you. Going to go over leverage, super important, vertical separation, directional kickoff, roles within it, ball placement, kickoff formations, loop and waterfall, leverage drills, everything I just said. Front door, back door, speed avoid technique, press and peek, block avoid drills. Where have I learned this from? I've learned it in practice at loads of different places. I had a leverage foundation clinic from the head coach at Rostock. When I talked with Dan at UE, he really opened my eyes to, hey, what if the kickoff formation lines up here and there? Okay, directional kickoff, ran it at GB and then obviously ran it at Lafayette. And then vertical separation when I was with the Panthers and we're working the dynamic kickoff return like they do in the ELF. Had to get a bit of help from the DC's friend who's the special teams coordinator at Kansas City. Got to get on a call with him for a little bit and talk about how they were going to do it because it was the summer for them, the first year that they were going to put it in the NFL. So we talked about what we were seeing in the ELF and then what they're going to do in the NFL. So we basically ran there what Kansas did in the NFL, and it worked out better for us after we put it in, but I'll talk about this in a sec. I've got a lot of content I want to give you. Please just write down any questions. Don't ask during it because I'll just get sidetracked. And then find me around, the convention tonight, whatever you need, okay? Right, teach an overview. Let's start with this, okay? Kick coverage, punt, and kickoff is defense. It is a defensive play. Therefore, you adhere to all of these defensive principles. You don't have to write them down, but stuff like gap and a half, what's a neutral zone, angle tracking, tackling technique, block destruct, block avoid, communication, how we use the sideline, discipline, all that stuff that you talk about on defense with your DBs, linebackers, applies to kick coverage. Okay, you're teaching on defense to therefore translate to kick coverage. Tackling teaching. If you're a near foot, near shoulder team, which schematically and health-wise everyone should be, okay, teach special teams tackling the same as you teach open field tackling to linebackers and defensive backs. Marry it all together, okay? Special teams can have a chaotic nature just because of the distance that we operate across compared to the safeties at 15 yards to the ball spotted right there. Kickoff, we may be going 60, 70 yards, okay? Have to give your players confidence and clarity. Confidence comes from clarity, okay? Confident players, they are prepared correctly. What is being prepared correctly? I'm teaching them really small, specific keys, I keys, okay? And a reduced number of techniques so they can essentially go into a flow chart in their brain. It reduces a really complex job to very, very small things, okay? That is how you get more confident players, okay? Football is the most complex game in the world. When people say, oh, football's just leverage and numbers, it's not, okay? It is the most complicated game in the world. Why do you have a coaching convention if it's easy? People who say football's easy, you're probably not a very good coach, okay? Our job as coaches is to create keys and coaching points that help players process faster and execute. We always say the longer you play football, the more the game slows down. The game doesn't slow down, you just process things faster. If you can reduce the amount of things that your player has to look at, okay, they're going to process faster, they're going to learn quicker, and they're just going to play faster from a younger age. Great kick coverage starts with leverage. Okay, what is leverage? Leverage is what foot and what shoulder do I want the ball carrier to be on. You have to clearly define it to all of your players in kick coverage. Landmarks, lanes do not give clarity. They do not give clarity. What foot and what shoulder am I going to tackle the ball carrier with? Therefore, how do I keep my leverage through the field? How do I close to the ball carrier whilst keeping it? Okay, sound kick coverage is just all 11 players executing their role collectively, suffocate the opponent together, just like defense. Okay, players must understand they're part of a bigger picture. Okay, the actions of one guy losing his leverage affects the actions of everyone else. Okay, I had a clip there. Give me a second here. Here we go. Go back a bit. Best leverage clip in the world. Best leverage clip in the world, okay? The guy who's catching the ball and returning it at the Seahawks is one of the 32 best returners in the entire world because he plays on an NFL team, okay? The guy who's going to make the tackle is not one of the 32 best open field tacklers. He's an offensive lineman. When does he rep tackling? Gav just said special teams, O-linemen are right. Yes, they are, okay? But this guy understands leverage. He knows he was the left guard on the field goal team. He's got to keep the returner on his right foot and his right shoulder. Awesome special teams coaching. This guy should never, ever tackle him, correct? Ever. This returner should be fired. But watch 66 work for leverage, and then as the guy crosses his face, he's able to come in. That guy is my favorite person in football. But that is a demonstration of anyone can play on this if you understand leverage. You can tackle an NFL returner, okay, as an offensive line player if you understand leverage. Then you get to your kickoff team, and these guys should be good open field tacklers, okay? Watch the way 21 here keeps leverage. He's a left foot, left shoulder player. Returner's going to try and flip the field. Oh, there you go. Returner's going to try and flip the field right now. 21's going to keep him on his left foot and his left shoulder, and with number 8, we're going to be able to vice the guy up. Tackle him at the 25. Great job. And all he's doing is keeping his leverage. What's my leverage? I got to be left foot, left shoulder. If he challenges my leverage, I got to work to keep it. Next big pillar about kickoff and kick coverage is vertical separation. And this is where the dynamic kickoff, aka the NFL kickoff, and the traditional NCAA kickoff translate and marry together, okay? This slide originally had a swear word on it, and it was expressing my opinion of coaching against the dynamic kickoff. I had to reduce it because I have the NFL logo on it. It is challenging. I will say that. It is challenging as a kickoff coach in this system, okay? The worst situation you can be in kickoff coverage is all 10 players, or all 11 players, this is 10 of our guys, kick us back here, in the same horizontal line at the 35-yard line. Worst place you can possibly. Why? You have no vertical separation. So, here we go. Last year around this time, week 1 of the ELF season versus Berlin Thunder. Aaron Jackson is back there returning. Unbelievable player. Unbelievable player. We're going up kickoff. I had a week, no, this is an excuse, but I wasn't able to change the kickoff by the time I got to be the coordinator here, so I left the kickoff the same for week 1 to my absolute peril. At this time, we had just scored. It's 28-20, okay? 10 seconds left in the half. What's the worst thing that can happen, right, guys? What's the worst thing that could possibly happen to me as a 24-year-old British kid working for a 70-year-old American head coach? Worst thing that can possibly happen after he gives me responsibility? All of my guys in the same vertical level. So all Aaron has to do is find one hole, and he's one-on-one with a kicker. We have no vertical separation. Badly coached by me. You know what I did the next week? I tore it all out. I completely tore it all out. I changed everything. Wasn't my scheme, but didn't have enough time. Should have done it. Changed everything, okay? Week 2, 5 days later, okay? ELF, Stuttgart Surge, new kickoff scheme. New kickoff scheme. Now we're going to have vertical separation. Fast forward this all the way. Again, 2 returners back there, both really, really dangerous dynamic ball carriers, okay? Now look, we have vertical separation because we changed the scheme. He's my safety, he's my fit-off, these are my linebackers, that's my defensive line, okay? Now we have vertical separation. He hits the first hole, but there are other players there to loop in, okay? We now have vertical levels. Fantastic. Sure, we're not going to be as impactful in the, we're not blitzing 7, okay? But we're going to prevent the big return, which is ultimately what we need to do here. Skipping forward again, same game, another example, we have vertical levels. These guys are lag players. They're going to allow these guys to outrun them. They're going to stay still. Now we have vertical levels. This is so important, guys. It is so important because now he gets through the first line. We have more guys there to vice him up. And our kickoff in this game was so much better. So much better. Again, vertical levels. The fit-off guys are the same. It's the 4th guy in and the 6th guy in and the 8th guy in. They're working as a pair with the odd numbers. And you can clearly see we have vertical levels. We look like a defense now. We're not just 10 guys lined up. Translate it to the NCAA kickoff, okay? What we run. I mean, I strongly believe that everyone's going to end up doing this kickoff because it's what the pros do, so it's what's going to happen in the NCAA, and then it's going to come over here, and we're going to end up running this kickoff, okay? So get ahead of the game. I'll give you, there's about 20 people here. You're all going to get ahead of the game now, okay? Take this back to your thing. You all have different roles you may label. Safety, hot players, fit-off players, lag players, all ways to get guys on different levels, okay? If I'm on the opponent's 30-yard line as a defense, they're kind of backed up. I'm not bringing 7 guys and I'm not playing press 0. Why? Because there's a bunch of field behind me to defend. Defense has levels. 1st level, 2nd level, 3rd level. Okay? So should kickoff. I learned it the hard way. Don't be like me. Learn from other people's mistakes. Okay? Learn from my mistakes. Here's Army. If you ever want special teams film, look at Army. Awesome, awesome special teams team. Vertical levels created. Fit-off players. Safeties. These guys are your hot players, your defensive line players, but just illustration of how do we create those vertical levels, given different roles, different speeds off the ball, different aiming points. We're going to go through it throughout this presentation. Okay? Come on. And then, now we have different levels, right? Now we have our defensive line, our blitzer, we have our linebackers, we have our deep safety, we have our corners, etc., etc. Translate it to defense. When you start to talk in common defensive or offensive terms about special teams, easier for players to process, especially the new players in adult teams and especially for Bucks players, okay? Again, we got Notre Dame now. Vertical levels created just by having guys lag. Here's your deep safety, and I got 2 guys here. What's this? It's cover 3. Okay? 3 deep defenders. Different vertical levels created just by different speeds off of the ball. So important. Okay? So important that we do this to prevent the big return. Because if my hot players don't get there, aka if my defensive line don't tackle the running back, safeties have got to make a play. If I have no safeties, it's a touchdown. But we get some good play from 12 there. So those 2 pillars of kickoff coverage relate to whatever scheme you want to run. Got to understand leverage, got to keep it, got to have vertical separation. Punt coverage is the same. Okay? My whole talk yesterday was supposed to go into punt coverage, but talked about protection for too long. Not a bad thing. Okay? But now we're going to talk a little more about directional kickoff, the specific play. Okay, what is the aim? What's the thought process? Why don't we just kick it down the middle and everyone just go 5x5, lane runners, keep them inside and in front? A whole bunch of different things are wrong with that. Okay, the aim is to shrink the field, shrink the lateral distance that we have to cover. The field is 53 yards wide. If I say to my backside like 9, hey, cut the field off. No one gets past you. Be the middle of the field. The aim, the thought process, compress those run gaps. Stop the returner getting up to speed by putting numbers, more numbers than they've got in a smaller area. Force him to break down because now he's not going vertical. Okay? The longer he spends breaking down, the less time he can get up to speed. Has to constantly stop and re-accelerate. He's going to be easier to tackle. Okay? This was the kickoff scheme that we put in week 2. And it's clearly drawn up. There's 3 levels. This is my defensive line. Cutoff players are like my force defenders. These are my linebackers. And that's my safety. Okay? This is how we schemed it up. How we installed it. I would install it in a lot more depth now, but this was a year ago. So never be afraid to contradict yourself yesterday. Always new information, change your mind. Okay? I just gave them essentially the different roles, color coordinate it, real nice. Contain, I don't say contain anymore, I say force, because I think it's better. Okay, it translates better in my head. Fit off as in 6 and 4 are fitting off of 3 and 5 in the same way that a linebacker in a 3-4 scheme will fit off the slant of your 4, your 0, and your 4. Okay? And then when we got to it, we were better. Like, we had better vertical levels. Oh, sorry, missed it. Here we go, versus Frankfurt. When I talk about directional kickoff, my 7 and my 9 are aiming to essentially take this sideline here and move it 23 yards in right here and say, you are not going to get outside here. We don't play football out here. That's what Dan at the academy says. We don't play football out here. And why is that great? Because now instead of covering 53 yards of space with 11 players, I cover 29 yards of space with 8 players, which is better numbers. Okay? We flood a better area. Less space for them to work in. That is the whole thought process behind it. Now, these guys have got to be your best guys, your cutoff players, because if it gets outside of them, you're toast. You have no one out there, okay? But that's why you train it, okay? And again, you know, this guy has to break 2 or 3 tackles, which I wish he didn't, but he did. It happens. But he's had to break 2 or 3 tackles to get back to the line of scrimmage now, because we have so many numbers in that small area. They didn't even try to flip the field. Translate it to an NCAA kickoff, okay? Here's my number 9. He's going to cut this off at the far hash. So 20 yards, 13 yards. This is 33 yards, 33.3, that we're going to cover with our safety and 9 other guys, so 10 players. They are covering 3.3 yards per player laterally instead of 5.3 yards per player laterally. Okay? That's how we work it. That's where we want to kick it. And again, we create different levels. I'm not going to go through all of this, but we create different vertical levels with our 2 safeties, the kicker and number 10, fit our loop player, our fit-off player, and our late looper. Full process. That's it, right? Would you rather cover 53 yards of space with 11 players or 20 yards with 6 players? What would you rather do? I'd rather cover 20 yards with 6 players. If I'm in the coverage game and I'm talking compressing everything down, that's where we want to be. Got to have a great kicker. Now, Manchester, obviously everyone knows, it's an 80-yard field, so we weren't worried. Spencer is our kicker here. Fantastic directional kickoff guy. Absolutely fantastic directional punt, directional kickoff. This was last year's semi-final. We killed them on kickoff, okay? We made every single tackle either outside the hash or just on it or inside it. Here, this is it. Great kick location, which we can't see. But, I mean, the returner is literally picking it up almost off the sideline. That's where we want to flood it. We want to force them to try and score through there. We have a number of cutoff players. They're going to tackle him if he gets to here with their left foot and their left shoulder. So here's Eddie cutting the guy off. I mean, they have 0 chance of getting it out and flipping the field on us, okay? That is the whole aim with directional kickoff. Force a big old mess right here. If he escapes, we have cutoff players. Great near foot, near shoulder tackle. Love it. That's the scheme we were running, okay? Eddie was number 8, works in, near foot, near shoulder, at the hash tackle, okay? Let's talk about some roles within my directional kickoff. That's a pretty standard directional kickoff, okay? Hot players, the defensive line, the first level. You may call them strike, attack, man, ball. Don't say headhunter, because when I hear headhunter, I hear I'm going to hunt your head, meaning I don't have any leverage. Okay, if I'm going to attack you and I'm going to go for your head, I'm straight down the middle of you. You can go either way. Hot players, they're fast, they're hot. Can't touch it, okay? They're fast right now, but they always have a leverage. AJ Wentland, if you know who he is, probably the best linebacker that lives in Europe. He's an American guy. Always try to scheme up him going against a local player, a non-import player. Why? If you coach professional football, don't bring a local to an import fight. Okay, these are my hot players. This is my import defensive end. He does bobsled in the off season, so his get off is just awesome. Local linebacker, animal, loved it. And then there's AJ, who's just really good at destroying blocks. Watch this. And then there's the other import, right? These are my hot players. This is a defensive line. Their job is to penetrate and attack. Penetrate, attack, tackle, wrap. Love it. That is a 7-yard TFL. Where are our hot players in the NCAA? Okay, first game, first kickoff of the season, we defer, so we're kicking off. We say we're going to sky kick it over here to the up back. Again, these are my hot players here. Fast, get to the football right now. Slightly slower, but they're at the front side of the play, so they'd have less vertical distance to cover. Again, great tacklers. Really good sky kick, right to the sideline, right to the up back, forcing to drop it, and now we're on it. First kickoff of the season. Their quarterback's on the sideline thinking, yeah, ready to jump on and get this season started. Fuck. Lost the ball. And we did it on the next kickoff. They had no shot. They had no shot, okay? Fit-off players, hold back, leverage, lag players, call them whatever you want. Lag players is a nice one because they lag slightly behind. They're the linebackers. They're the second level, okay? Really important in this scheme that you have lag players. Okay, so number 4 and number 6 for me. This guy's a receiver. This guy's a DB. He's actually like a really good corner. Again, another import. Okay, had to use him because we had no choice. Okay, because kickoff was not very good for us, so we had to use our best guys on it. They're fit off. They're going to allow everything to outrun, and then they're just going to sit off. Oh, there you go. They're just going to sit off. 4 works with 3, so wherever AJ fits, Victor, who's number 4, if AJ fits that side of the blocker, Victor's going to fit in that gap right there. That was the whole thought process behind the fit-off players. So they're lagged back a little bit. Now they can fit to wherever the returner goes. They can rock back in, and they can assist on the tackle. Okay? Fit-off players for the Aztecs. This was last season. It's a similar scheme. Cody at the bottom, number 92. He's our fit-off guy here. So he is fitting off of number 15, Josh. Josh has got to keep everything inside, okay? So this is called a boundary fold. Really common thing in the NCAA. Number 15 is going to try and keep everything on his right foot and his right shoulder. If he gets jammed inside, number 92, a.k.a. Cody, okay, he's going to replace him and be the fit-off guy. Now he's going to come out here. He's our next force guy, okay? If Josh, number 15, manages to box everything back in and that returner goes there, Cody just becomes a free player. He becomes a free player, still right foot, right shoulder, okay? But now, once he sees the returner has jumped in there, Josh has the edge, aka number 15 has the edge. Cody can work over the top and find a horizontal bubble to work in. Boom! Pop! First tackle of the game. What a way to set the tone, okay? But it's because he's a fit-off player. He's a second-level player. He has the ability to do that, okay? Work back over. Pop, great tackle, great near foot, near shoulder tackle. Safety players, back, top, high players. In the defense, they're the safeties, okay? My safety, I always took from all the way over here, and on the kick, he's literally going to run that path. We actually want him to lose ground. Why? Because we can't have everyone stood on the same line. We want him to lose ground and get over the top. If you're running a directional kickoff and your safety is your furthest guy away, he can't play safety over that side of the field because the ball isn't going to be over that side of the field. If this guy played safety, nope, wrong screen. If that guy played safety there, he's not doing his job. He's got to go and get over here. We got a kicker on the numbers. Mac, Big Mac, he's going to be about middle of the field, so we get a cover 2 look, okay? Again, lose ground, get over the top of the ball. Now we have cover 2. Okay, in the NCAA, oh, this is a good one. I'm going to show you a bad safety clip, okay? Again, learn from me. Learn from my mistakes, okay? My kicker was my safety. He should be back here. He's sticking his nose up in here. Bad coach, bad discipline. There's my other safety, way too far away from where we wanted to put the football. Doesn't have enough time. Great kickoff return scheme by Portsmouth. Sees one hole and goes, scores. And the worst thing is, the play before that, we scored on kick return. So it was bang, bang. Terrible. But our safeties didn't do their job. I didn't coach them well enough, okay? So learn from me, okay? Have your safeties hold back. They're the last line. Cut-off players. Force, contain, sideline players. I like force because when you say contain, okay, and I got to keep you inside, but if you wide, I'm just going to work out here, and if I get a blocker, it's okay if he pushes me out because I am containing it. No, if we're on the edge of anything, we're sticking our hand in there, and we are driving that, compressing that run lane, forcing you to go back in. Again, like I talked about yesterday, and actually like Gav talked about today with drive catch, Use words that relate better in their head to what you want them to do. Okay? So my cutoff players here, if they are eventually get this return to our, where we're not kicking it, or if you get a bad kickoff like we did here, 7 and 9 are my cutoff players, okay? They have to tackle this with their left foot and their left shoulder. Ah, you motherfucker. It's going way smoother than when Gavin used it, but it's okay. Still not great. Still got to learn. Here we go. Left foot, left shoulder tackle by 7. Cut it back, force it back in, rock back over. That's all it is. Upfield, go, go, go. Force it back in, good. Now I can rock back, left foot, left shoulder tackle. Okay, that's what we want. What we're running right now, I really like what our number 9 is doing. He's a receiver, okay? He's a receiver, but he's a big, long guy. Really likes playing on kickoff. Great for the cutoff spot. He's got to keep it on his left foot and his left shoulder. So as this guy works out, and this is a good returner, okay? This was the Crusaders. Keep my leverage, keep my leverage, keep my leverage as much as I can. And I can eventually make this tackle, okay? He's done it a couple times for us. One of our kickoffs against Rushmore. Again, here's number 9 running down. Got to keep it on his left foot and his left shoulder. Does a great, great job of working out. Now, eventually, the returner crosses his face, which we don't want. But he's close enough to be able to wrap him. So keep working, keep working. Don't want him to cross face, but he's there, and he manages to hold on. Cavalry comes, okay? Great tackle. Ball's at the 17-yard line. Great start for our defense. And one more cutoff player. Again, it's the same clip. It's the same clip. Windy day. Great one, okay? Great tip for you. If it's a windy day and the ball falls down twice, that's the rule. Ball can fall down twice, then you have to have someone hold it. Make it your safety, okay? Normally, people will just take the 5 from either side, just go right there because they're closer to it. But eventually, Jason, our safety, needs to be right here. So he's the one coming to hold because he doesn't need to get off fast. So use your safety to hold the ball. Great little tip. Great little tip. These are the little gems you come to these talks for. Here we go. Going to kick this ball off, and you're going to see Eddie, who's number 8, white helmet on the backside. Cut this off right now, eventually when he comes back. Can't go front sides, re-accelerate, cuts it off, left foot, left shoulder tackle, done. Just kept his leverage. Really good start for us. Again, where are my cutoff players? 7 and 9. This is a fit-off, hot players, okay? Creating 3 levels of defense. And then again, same scheme, exactly the same scheme, just pulled up and extended over 60 yards, okay? Having to do that massively changed my thought process of how I need to do this, okay? Just like coaching defense informs how I coach coverage, okay? Having to coach the dynamic kickoff return, I'm pretty sure I'm the only one British that's ever coached this, okay? It massively informed how I coach this. So it's important. It's a good lesson to move over. Okay, kickoff formations, ball placement, okay? How do offenses stress defenses pre-snap, motions, formations. If you're a defensive coach, who's a defensive coach here? Formations and motions stress you out, right? You have to have all these adjustments within your coverage, within your linebackers. Do you bump, whatever? If you're an offense and you only run one formation, you better be really good at it, okay? We use so many motions and formations to stress the defense. Why? We want to create a number overload somewhere in the run game maybe. Gain pre-snap leverage so we can go and block a guy better. Kickoff formations. Weaponize them. Fucking weaponize them, okay? How can I create pre-kick leverage advantages? Let's look at it, okay? So real easy one right now is we would compress the backside of our kick return. Why? Ball's coming over here. Ball's on the left hash because it's closer to where we want our kicker to do it. It's easier for him. We don't need number 10, the safety, way out there on the sideline. 0 point in doing it. If they don't adjust, i.e. this guy right now, who's over by like the numbers, probably got a block if they're hanging to number 8. He's all the way in there. That's hard to do. Really hard to do, okay? Here's Army doing a really similar thing, right? Versus Navy. Now, the rule of kickoff is when the ball is kicked, you can maximum have 6 guys to one side of the ball. Obviously, Army have 9. They're going to motion into someone else here, okay? Again, they're hanging this guy all the way over here to pull him out. Do some funky stuff, okay? Because what else? Okay, now, who's number 1? Who's number 6? Where's my blocking assignment? Ah, the kick's off. Kick return is panicking. If this guy had to block him, he's now all the way over there. Compressed KO formations. It takes the KOR player further away from their assignment if they don't adjust with you. A defense will adjust with the offensive formation and motion. A KOR team should adjust with the kickoff, okay? So let's say that, for example, this is my compressed, it's not as compressed, but it is a compressed version of a kickoff formation. These guys are just straight up, tackles on the numbers, guards on the hash, centers over the ball. That tackle, if they're hanging 10, he's got slightly further to go. Center's got slightly further to go to get to 5, okay? Now, if I compress these guys even more, and they don't adjust, he's just got further to travel. It's harder, okay? The further a kick return player has to travel laterally to gain leverage, if we've got a right return and I've got to get to special teams, special players right here, I've only got about 3 yards to get laterally, and now I'm there. If I've got to get all the way over to spec, okay, because now by alignment he's all the way in there, I got to get whole ass to get all the way over here laterally. I can't get as much depth. I might not even get there. I might not be able to cut him off. And it also reduces how much time I have to set up. Okay, if I get to spec right now, who's right there, and I can set up and pat my feet and get ready to adjust, block's going to be better. If I just cross your face and get leverage as you're like 3 yards away from me, and I got to turn, really, really hard. Easier for the kickoff player to beat a return player when they are in transition. So how can you do that? You can do it with messing about with your kickoff formations, okay? You can also create leverage for the surprise onside kick. Everyone's seen this clip before, right? Everyone knows what's about to happen. We're going to see it from the wide, but Clemson, Alabama, national championship, 4th quarter, compressed kickoff from the Alabama team, creates a big old window to sky kick the ball into. Let's go look at it. Okay, let's go look at it from the wide, from the kind of highlight shot. This is a TV copy, so can't really see it super well. Changed the whole game. That was Sweeney going crazy. He's a great guy. I'm only saying that because it's going up on YouTube. Here we go. Pre-kick. Look at all the space over here. Yeah, they adjusted, so there's a lot of space out there. He's got to see the ball off the tee better. But this is such a great job by Alabama using kickoff formations, okay, to create an opening for this kind of onside kick. Love it, right? Really, really clever. Good idea. Kickoff formations, again, weaponize them. Now let's talk about number overloads, okay? I love what SGS do on their kickoff. And a lot of teams do this. Start all huddled up. They start huddled up, and then when the kicker walks back, they normally break it, okay? Every so often, they will do a quick onside kick. This is an example. They do full kickoff out of this. Portsmouth are doing a good job of being adjusted, okay? So they're ready for the quick onside kick because, again, if you don't adjust and it's literally the center standing there and the kicker just goes, go! 10 guys running at the center. Ah! Especially if it's a young kid, okay? Probably going to get the ball. They don't do it here, but what they do a quick kickoff here and they kick it deep. So Portsmouth return, there's no kick return. There is no kick return now. That's it. It's just 10 guys running down the field. Really good use of compressed formation. This is an example of when they spread out and how what we, again, my guys are theoretically coached okay, maybe. But again, we're compressed, and then when these guys spread out, now we can get set into our formation. Our alignment is based off of their alignment, just as a defense's alignment is based off of an offensive formation. Doing pretty well. Okay, looping and twisting. Where does it translate to defense? D-line games, linebacker loop blitzes, aim, pick blockers, allow a player to come free, allow a defensive lineman to be running straight at the quarterback. It stresses man blocking schemes, okay? Kickoff return blocking schemes, almost always man assignment based. It is very hard, like Gavin just talked about passing off twists and games, and it's hard to do when the bullets are flying and the guy's right there. What about over 20 yards? Okay, what about over 20 yards of distance? I can't hear him, he can't hear me, I can barely see what's happening. It's hard, man. Looping and twisting is a great tool, especially if you have a really good kickoff player, you want to get him free. So we loop number 6, and we call him the pipe fitter over the back of our hit side, okay? So again, we create a numbers overload, and whoever was blocking him is now displaced by two, 3 men. He can now go in and help out on the tackle. He comes through completely unblocked on this play, okay? There he is. Not a very violent hit, but, you know. Again, looping number 6. Now, let's say they're hanging 10. Okay, they're not blocking him. He's got 9. He's got 7. Or he's got 6. The guy blocking him is the center, theoretically, or that guy. If I loop him all the way over here, again, more distance he has to cover laterally. Okay, harder for him to get to his assignment. And Mac, number 33, great angle, awesome angle. He ends up coming completely free, like nobody blocks him. And he's able to help out on the tackle. Love it. Great start to the game. Tackling him at the 20-yard line. Really good start. Okay, Army. Little bit of twisty here. Okay, again, great special teams unit. Ranked number 1 in America over the last couple of years. Going to look at some twists here, okay? Let's look at number 3 becoming number 1, a.k.a. the cutoff player, and these two guys knifing in. You guys have all seen this blitz before. You've all seen this blitz before on defense. Just a 3-man stunt. Knifes all the way out. And now one of those interior players ends up coming free through to the off returner. He was originally number 2. Maybe they weren't picking him up by scheme. Waterfall. Waterfall is another great tool you can use, okay? It helps you gain pre-kick leverage and the number advantage, okay? So Army do waterfall, which I really like. Waterfall, okay, refers to the backside of a directional kickoff, compressed all the way out at the sideline, and then as the kicker approaches, they're going to run down the line. As he crosses in, they're going to bend to their assignment, okay? Really good to use in directional kickoffs when we're kicking the ball down here, okay? What does it do? Forces these guys out here. More space for these guys all to operate in. And again, if they don't adjust with the waterfall, he has got to travel further laterally, can't get as much depth, won't get transition quick enough. Got to time it up, got to practice it. If it's something that's part of your kickoff, it can't be just a wrinkle, you've got to practice it. So if it goes wrong, 4 guys might trip over. But again, waterfall. And this one goes out of bounds. Let's see it from the end zone though. See how it stresses out the left tackle and the left guard. Again, we do all of these funky things on kickoff just to stress the kick return team. Just like an offense uses motion and formation to stress a defense. Normally stressing the defensive alignment rules, okay? So here, really nice. That guy's had to plus all the way out there. He may be blocking, like number 8 or number 7, and as this guy sprints in, he doesn't do a good job of matching it. He's late to it. And now his job is all the way in there. Wouldn't be able to get there even if he tried, even if it was a return. Oh, let's go forward a bit. One more waterfall here. Stacked waterfall. Italy did this against GB a few years ago. Really useful, okay? Stacking the waterfall, okay? If I'm man assignment and I say, hey, I've got number 8, I've got number 7, I've got number 6. Or who's 6, 7, and 8? Don't know until they kick it. Great waterfall, because here, these two guys end up becoming, 7 and 8, and then 9 and 10, who may have originally been identified as 7 and 8, now we're not going to block them. So 2 guys closer to the direction of the kick may end up coming free. Just different ways to use it, okay? Right, stuff you guys can take away, okay? Essential leverage drills. Tackle approach has got to be the first thing you do in special teams and defense, okay? I call it a shimmy. You might call it a swoop. You might call it a shuffle. But it is coming to balance and taking a approach step with my leverage foot and leverage shoulder, okay? Good diagram here. Just get a coach there to show what leverage, give them a target, okay? This is it done fast by Ohio State. Go. Right foot, right shoulder, tap off. Go. Left foot, left shoulder, tap off. Here's me doing it at speed in Norway. I'm the guy in the blue hat. Again, go. Shuffle, 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 shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Teach tackle approach first. Sink your hips, lead with your leverage foot and shoulder. Tap the guy like that, because you don't tackle like that. We tackle here, okay? That's the quarterback. If the quarterback can do it, everyone can do it. and then go fast, go fast. That guy went the wrong way. He was a smaller guy, okay? Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Wrong foot, wrong shoulder, right? Coach it up quickly. Quick coaching cues. Left foot, left shoulder. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Now they know how to do that. Lost leverage drill. Again, I say leverage. Biggest thing, right? Biggest thing in football. Everyone's done this drill before. But it is so, so essential. I just want to emphasize how essential it is, okay? What we're essentially going to do here is we're going to say, they're going to start in a vice tackle situation, okay? So he, is a left foot, left shoulder player on me, right foot, right shoulder player. Tell one of them on the go to run around the middle cone. They have lost their leverage. They have to regain it, okay? This has got to be a day one drill. And honestly, we did this almost every session at Exeter with the linebackers. Now I've got to regain leverage to cut him off, okay? Because if I've lost it, I have to regain it. I don't just go and take the other leverage. Lost it, regain it, cut me off, vice tackle me up, again using that shimmy approach. I call it shimmy, call it shuffle approach, whatever you want to call it. But again, lose your leverage. Force a guy to lose his leverage, challenge it, he's got to regain it. He's got to regain his leverage. He's got to get wider. He can't just turn the cone and go upfield. He's got to get back into a spot so he can go left foot, left shoulder on me. 3 returner drill. Another example of how to do it. Less impactful on the players, okay? Slightly less running. But again, we're forcing one guy to lose his leverage. You're going to throw it to one of 3 returners. One would just be up the middle, so it's an easy approach. The other 2, you're going to force a guy to lose his leverage, okay? Up the middle, nice, easy approach. These are 2 offensive linemen. They're 2 offensive linemen and they're doing it right, okay? Now we're going to throw it out a little bit wider here. Oh, no, we're not. I don't have a clip of that. It's a shame. Anyway, if I was to throw it out here, now my guy who is a right foot, right shoulder player has got to go and get that. Just like the clip I showed you earlier of the Seahawks player, the Seahawks offensive lineman, just working to a good leverage spot, okay? Let's talk about once we have figured out leverage, once we've figured out shimmy approach, we go to avoiding. Avoiding. We would rather avoid than press and peek because avoid I'm going to get off them. Now, I taught this for ages. In fact, I think I taught this up to about 4 months ago. It was actually only at the start of the season at the Aztecs here where I stopped teaching this. Why do we teach backside avoid? Backside avoid being, if you're a kickoff player running down at me, and this is a frontline avoid technique, and I go there, we teach our guys to go where? Backside, right? Cut off the back, cut off the butt. Why? Because the returner's going there. Because the returner's run into, it's like a club, we're trying to find ass, okay? Sorry. Here we go, okay? So why do we teach it? Because theoretically it makes sense. Theoretically it holds up, okay? However, for me, okay, that's why. The aim is to run where the kickoff team intends the returner to hit. Theoretically sound, but for me, it's the relationship of the coverage player to the ball carrier that is more important than reading the KOR team's block to determine your avoid strategy. If you want to take a picture of one slide, take a picture of that, or I'll just send it to you, okay? Because if we're going here, you're running down at me, I'm starting to show that I want to block you there, but the returner is all the way out there, and you avoid me there, you're never going to go and get that. Sometimes you are going to have to front door avoid, and you often see it more times than not now in the NCAA and the NFL. Great examples of front door avoid. Okay, great example of a front door avoid. Front door, I mean we cross his face. Okay, we cross his face. Let's watch my man right here, okay? And the end zone view is going to be a little clearer, but again, he's clear as day running down here. Because of the relationship to the returner, he's going to front door avoid this front line block. Cross face, and now he's right there. Let's go to the end zone. You'll see it easier, okay? Again, think, if he was to avoid to the backside here, would he be able to make this tackle? Probably not. Okay, kickoff after a safety, you know you're going to have to go down and cover it. We are watching number 25 running at the top of the torch. Here he is, front door avoid. Here's the ball carrier. If he was to avoid to here and run this hoop, this guy would just cut up in here and go. Because this guy would just go, oh, thank you, I'll just run you out there. So he front door avoids. Rips with the right arm, great job. Hand displacement, great tackle, love it. Front door avoid, sometimes you've got to do it. It's not what we've all taught traditionally. However, traditions need to be changed, okay? That's why we come to conventions, okay? Again, let's watch number 12. Front door avoid. Returner's all the way down there. Is he going to avoid there? No. Why? Because the returner's all the way over there. Creating hardships for yourself. Great front door avoid. Dip and rip. Rips up with a right shot. A great tackle, man. Look at this. That's why Notre Dame went to the national championship. Man, awesome play. Look at number 12 again. And again, like I said this last night, don't be afraid to show your players NCAA and NFL film, okay? Simply because, look, here's the thing, guys. I worked for Coach Kuligowski at Wrocław. He was at DC at Alabama in 2018. And he was showing our defensive line, our defensive line, our local players, film of Quinn and Williams. And I'm like, I just said to him, because he'd never coached in Europe before, I said, hey, cool, these guys, they're going to struggle to do these techniques. He was like, that's a wrong mindset. And I was like, okay, tell me why. Because why would you show someone an inferior technique as teach tape? Why would you show someone a bad model just because it's closer to them of doing it? Doesn't make any sense. Show the guys the best teach tape. Show them the best examples you possibly can. If you've got players that can do it and you have those clips throughout the years, use them. If you have to go and find NCAA, NFL, ELF, whatever, go find great examples, okay? Because that's what we should be inspiring to do. That's what we're coaching. You wouldn't coach a guy to do it as well as the best player in England. You want to coach a guy to do it as the best player in America, okay? That's what we're aiming to do. So show them this film. Okay, show them how we keep leverage. Show them how we front door avoid. Here's an example of backdoor avoid, and this is a bad example of avoid selection. So we're going to look at my man. He's a doctor, bless his heart, okay? Good player, solid linebacker, okay? But right here, what are we thinking? Front door or backdoor avoid? I'd probably pick front door, okay? He's working on this guy right here. The return is clearly intended to go there. The lead blocker's there. I will probably go front door here. Now, the bullets are flying, and I'm not a player, okay? It's really easy to just sit there after and go, yeah, you probably should have done this. Well, shit, man, you got to coach it better. I got to coach it better. We weren't doing it. I wasn't teaching front door avoid. I was strict about saying always avoid to the butt side no matter what. Puts him in a bad spot. It's bad coaching, okay? So I changed it, okay? Completely changed it. Look, goes back door, doesn't have the speed, ends up running the hoop, isn't a factor in the tackle, okay? Selects the wrong way to avoid. Selects the wrong move to use because I didn't coach him well enough, okay? But again, now I learn this. I do it different now, okay? Reducing surface area. Displacing hands. Key. So we've talked about your selection, now the actual execution, right? Dip and rip. Everyone's heard dip and rip. What's the actual purpose of dip and rip? It's all about reducing surface area. You have all of my, I'm not a big guy, but this is a lot of space for you to grab on and block. That is not a lot of space for you to grab on and block. That's even less space for you to grab on and block. Dip, take my chest away from your hands. Rip is just the movement of displacing the hands up through. We say rip to the sky because we want to finish it. Okay? Let's go all the way to the end zone shot because it'll be better. Okay, you're going to see a great example of a guy finishing a rip all the way up through here. Dip, reduce surface area, rip up to the sky, take the hands away, okay? I love it. Because here's the thing, I don't really teach defensive linemen to rip because the offensive line are taught to block like that. You can't really rip that because it's so low. But guys on KOR are going to block up there. They are going to block up there, okay? So we can rip all of this stuff, okay? Let's look right here at my man. Rip. Look at him rip right here, okay? He's going to lean in, eyes on the returner, and rip that arm up through. Great job. Pushes through. He's able to affect the returner. Doesn't make the tackle, but it's a nice rip. Press and peek. Bully technique. You've probably heard it before. AKA control the blocker, comparable to two-gapping on defense. Selection of your block, avoid, or destruct technique depends on how far away you are from the ball carrier. Okay? If I'm going to tackle Coach Pete, he's way at the back of the room, and I'm avoiding the block right here. If I just press and peek that blocker all the way, he can make up all that vertical distance. If I avoid, I got space to get back on and under control. But if I'm going to tackle Manchester United right here and I try to avoid the guy, he's already ran past me. But if I'm going to tackle Terrell and there's a blocker right here, press, peek, declare, rip off and go, okay? So your distance to the ball carrier affects your selection. Maintain balance, drive the blocker into the ball carrier, rip off on the returner's movement, go make a tackle, okay? Good example here from AJ. He's the third guy in on the left. I'm going to circle it up in a sec so you can see. But a nice example, if I slow-mo this, of pressing the blocker, okay, and then ripping in. Oh, let's go slow-mo forward. Here we go. Come on. Here we go. Ready? Press because I'm close. Rip off, and I'm right there. Awesome little play. Let's get another clip, okay? Another little clip. We'll go all the way to the end here. Now, press and peek, I used to teach really just the peek bit, to be honest. You may have taught your guys before just to try and stay right there at the same vertical level. But would you teach your defensive line to just come off the ball and stand there? So I changed it. I said, we're not going to just stand there and peek. We're going to actually drive the blocker back, compressing the run lane, okay? And then we're still peeking, we can still rip off. But that just changed how I drill it. Instead of just doing this and rip off, I started doing this and rip off. And it translates better to the game. Let's watch 14 here. Press, 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 rip off. Nice job. Affect the tackle. There you go. Press, press, press because I'm closer and rip off. Great example from Oslo, okay? We worked this drill in preseason and then this guy translated. It's probably the best example you'll ever see of press and peek. I mean, this is really good. Here we go. Press, peek, rip, tackle. Now, he's like 5'2", so his leverage is already there, okay? But press, peek, rip, tackle. Drive the blocker back in. How do you develop block destruction selection, okay? Press and peek drill, right? Let's work the skill. Let's work the skill. Press the guy back, see the returner. Everyone's done this before, right? Everyone's done this drill before. I would suggest doing it at a bigger distance just because these guys have a tendency to work upfield. Or be the coach, literally do this. Simulate the catch and then go and then just work laterally. Reason being, I don't want to work too far up because then it's hard to rip off and get a good shimmy. That's what I figured out, okay? You don't want to be too far up here when these guys rip off because it doesn't look right. It doesn't translate very well. Rip. Leverage. Better shimmy from number 6. But again, finish with your shimmy approach, okay? I don't have a diagram of this drill, a video of this drill. This is a key one. Front side avoid, back side avoid, when to use it. Very simple, okay? All I'm going to do, there's going to be a coach here and a returner on the other side of me. Approach him. If that ball carrier is still in there, we can go back door. If that ball carrier is either level or slightly further forward, now I got to go front door, okay? Vary up the speed of the returner, going that way. Tag the back hip or tag the front hip, depending on what leverage you want to stress. Team kickoff drill, putting it all together, okay? We've all probably ran something like this, okay? What I started doing this year, though, I'm just going to show you guys because I thought it was a better way to do it. I got it from Florida State, I think. Instead of just working one of those techniques, so that's your speed avoid, that's your press and peek, do it at the same time. Not the same guys going through it, but do it at the same time. So here, you have 2 different drills happening within one unit. This is your speed avoid. This is your press and peek. And because you're kind of compressing it all together, kind of looks like a kickoff, okay? Guys can kind of, and also, if you only have 2 coaches on your team, you can do this, okay? This could be your straight after your warm-up. Use all your skill guys to do it, okay? Great one for everyone together to do. See it through now. Obviously, like, not everyone has shoots. We don't use shoots, okay? They got to shoot to emphasize dip and rip. What I do, though, is I put a agility bag or a step over right there, just emphasizing that they need to come to balance on the bag. We check their toes that they are just an inch away from the bag every time. We did this at Exeter a lot this season. You know, it's just a fast way to get more reps with more guys, okay? Takeaways. I get to summarize now, bang on an hour. I'm going to make you all late for the awards evening. Okay. Use principles of offense and defense in special teams, but now defense to make chaotic things feel ordered, give mental clarity. The less fog in the brain, the quicker guys can process. Give your players a leverage to keep. It leads to confidence. If I have a plan of how I'm going to tackle somebody as a rookie player, I don't want to talk bad about any other coaches, but as a receiver that never played rugby in my first year at Birmingham, having to go on kickoff, I was not confident. I was terrified. We went up against UE in my first year. They only had 3 Americans at the time, but one of them blindsided me. I had no idea what was happening. I was terrified. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what leverage I was supposed to keep. I didn't know if I was a left foot or a right foot shoulder player. Maybe I didn't pay attention. Maybe it wasn't coached very well. Okay? When I look at it now, I say, I'm not coaching it very well. Okay? Be reflective, okay? Weaponized formations. Have fun with it. If you're just 5, and also like when people talk about philosophically, how do you make special teams fun? Or how do you make offense and defense fun? Like, it's the same thing, right? It's still football. But use different formations, okay? Don't be afraid to get complicated. It gets guys more engaged. And it gets you a pre-kick leverage or alignment. If you can tell them that you're doing it, and then you just say, yeah, they're just going to align in a normal formation. Your players have confidence in you and your scheme that you're going to get there, okay? And then the last one, I didn't really talk about it today, but you have to be able to do it with your kicker. You've got to have great kick location. If I'm sending all 9 guys outside that half of the field and he kicks it over there, we're going to have problems, okay? Your kicker has to be on board. Your kicker has to be good. Or I would short kick it, but still to that same side, okay? That's how I get around that. Okay, free drill menu, okay, on Google Drive. Give me your email. You can find there's diagrams, there's videos of all this stuff. It's all about special teams. There's no shine-up sheets, but you can use my contact information right here. So my email is jackfarm112@gmail. Instagram X is CoachFar1. Just send me a message like, hey, can I have that free menu? Like, I'll just send it to you, I'll share it with you, okay? And if you don't have a Google account, I might be nice and send you the PDF, okay? But just DM me, send me a message, okay, and I'll get it done. Okay, and there's a lot of good stuff on there, okay? Right, I've made you all late. You know what? There's no one in here to cut me off. Anyone got any questions about kickoff, directional kickoff? I'm pretty thorough in how I cover it. All right, nice. Wake up, Dallas Cowboys. Let's go. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.